Okay, hello everybody. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Hi. Hope you're all doing well. Did you get rained on today? Did you get wet? I did. It really sucks to get wet when you're riding on your scooter and you're going somewhere and then you arrive at that place and you're all wet. And raincoats, they just don't work so well. Like, I put on my raincoat as best as I can, and I always just, when I take it off, my t-shirts and pants and everything is just wet. So, am I doing something wrong? I don't know. You guys tell me. Hi everyone, nice to see you. I remember your names: Emily, Mandy, Duke, and I'm not sure who else, but hi everyone, thanks for coming. Nice to see you. And it's Thursday, so we are here doing our live Facebook stream. This will be very quick, maybe 5 to 10 minutes. So I hope you have 5 to 10 minutes to listen to me talk about mostly IELTS. In this class, we mostly talk about IELTS. Which many students in Taiwan do because they want to study in England or Australia or Canada or America. So you have to do the IELTS exam. Hi Tina. So IELTS is a very useful topic to know about. And in the past few weeks, we've spoken about like some speaking. We've introduced speaking part 1, introduced speaking part 2. Maybe part 3, I'm not sure, but we'll definitely do part 3 next week. And last week, I think we did some writing, but today we're back to the speaking because I think you guys love the speaking. You want to learn about IELTS speaking and what type of questions and what type of answers there are. Just remember everyone, if you have any questions, you can ask. Just put them in the comments there and I will try to answer them. Okay. All right. So let's begin. Today we're going to talk about the speaking part 2. So remember, speaking part 2 means you get given a question and the question might be anything and you have 1 minute to prepare your answer. And then you have to give a 2-minute answer, 1.5 to 2 minutes. So
you can show like this.
Okay. So I'm going to show you a question soon, and we're going to look at this question, and we're going to look at how we can answer it. So yeah, just remember when you give your answer, what can you do to make your answer better? So you definitely want to, first of all, talk for the whole time. So I think 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes, that's fine. So you need to be able to talk for that amount of time. That's a big part of it. 2, you need to be able to describe whatever you're thinking or whatever you're trying to say. You need to be able to describe that clearly and nicely. And you know, it needs to make sense and it needs to sound like a story. Hi everyone, nice to see you. So yeah, make your answer sound like a story, and you know, there shouldn't be any pauses or hesitation. It's kind of all nice and smooth from beginning to end. And I think the best way to sort of plan your answer is to divide your answer into 3 parts. And so we'll look at that now. Let's have a look at our question for today. So very simple one, describe your favorite movie. And you get these like little questions like, what's the name of the film? What's the theme of the film? What do you like about it? And things like that. So very simple one today, describe your favorite movie. Which is actually quite a difficult question because I've probably watched 2 movies in the last 2 years. We all watch TV series nowadays, but I have watched 1 movie, so I'm not so So I'm not going to talk about my favorite movie because my favorite movie is probably, I haven't seen it for probably 10 years or 20 years. So I can hardly remember it, but it's my favorite movie. But I'm gonna talk about a movie I've seen this year. Okay? So that's some advice. The question is describe your favorite movie, but you don't have to do that. Just talk about the one that is fresh in your mind, and then you should be able to talk about it more easily, right? Would you agree? Okay, so describe your favorite movie. The movie I'm going to talk about is called Death on the Nile. Death on the Nile. And I got told that in Chinese it's Nile河谋杀案. Do you know that movie? My Chinese is terrible, but anyway, Nile河谋杀案. Death on the Nile, and it's a detective movie. There's a murder and a crime and a mystery, and the detective needs to solve the murder and find out who was the murderer. Okay, so some of you might have seen this, some of you might not. Anyway, so how would I answer this question? So the first thing I would do is I want to introduce. So remember I said I'm going to have 3 parts in this answer. First part, I'll talk about like introductions. I'll introduce the movie. So I'll say this movie is called Death on the Nile. It was released in 2022, and it's based on a book by Agatha Christie, who wrote the book probably 100 years ago. And this is the second movie that they've made of her books in recent times. Actually, these movies, there were some movies about a long time ago that I saw when I was a kid, and those were very good too. So when I watch these movies, so I'm also going to say, when I introduce this, my answer, I'm going to say, so I've seen this movie before in a version that's probably 40 years old, and that was really good. So I'm curious, is this going to be as good? So I'm just introducing the movie and my situation of watching it. When did I watch it? Who was I with? That kind of thing. Okay? Then I'm going to, in the second sort of section, I'm going to talk about the details of the movie. So I'm going to start talking about the movie. Like, so this movie is about a couple, a newly-wed couple, a couple that recently got married, and they're having their honeymoon, and they're super rich. The woman is very, very rich. She comes from a rich family, and they're having their honeymoon in Egypt, and they get onto a boat that goes up the river, the famous river in Egypt. And then there's all these characters on the boats, and we sort of meet all these characters, and some of them are very not so nice, some of them are very, very nice, some of them are rich, some of them are poor, da da da. So there's all these different characters. Some of them are in love with other people, and so there's all this drama. Anyway, somebody is trying to kill the main couple, the newlywed couple, and a few people start to die, and then eventually the main woman might, I shouldn't tell you. Okay, anyway, so there's a death, and it's the detective, his name is Detective Poirot. He needs to solve this murder. And that's it. That's all the details I'll say. And then my last little part is, what do I think about this movie? So I'm not describing the movie anymore. I'm giving my opinion about the movie. So I'm going to say, well, I thought this movie was pretty good. It's not excellent, but it's pretty good, and I think the acting and the story was good. But I've read the book, and I love the book, and so for me, the book is the best, and the movie can never be as good as the book. I'm sure you guys know that when you read the book and then you see the movie's never as good, right? So yeah. And then so just give your opinion, and so I think the movie was pretty good, and if they do another movie, I'll definitely watch it. Yeah. So just one more time, did you see that there were 3 parts? First, I introduced the movie, not talking about the details of the movie, just like, what is the movie? When did it come out? When did I watch it? Was there a book? Is it a sequel? Then I go into the details of the movie. What's the story? And lastly, I give my opinion. And if I do it like that, then I'll definitely talk for 1.5 to 2 minutes easily. Don't you think? So it's nice to have that structure in your answer. Okay, so that is how to do that task part 2 question for speaking. So just remember the question is, describe your favorite movie. I would like you guys to sort of practice that. Think of your favorite movie or a movie you recently watched and see if you can talk about it for 1.5 to 2 minutes. Can you talk about your favorite movie in English for 2 minutes? Not easy. Okay, so practice that. I think we might have a question here today. The question's just come up. Hi Max, I got a really difficult question in my last IELTS speaking test. The question asked me to describe a job about river. Do you have any advice for this kind of question? So Leo, I think this student, he says he got a question that says talk about a job about rivers. I think he means like, so there's a, what job, describe a job where the person does something to do with a river, which is really, that is a really weird question. Can you guys see this? So what jobs are there where somebody is doing something to do with a river? So it's not the sea, it's not the ocean, it's the river. What jobs are there where people do something to do with a river? And so he got asked this question, and that's a really difficult question because I'm thinking like, what river jobs are there? But I can think of some. Can you guys think of some? Okay, so on a river. So first of all, when we drink our water or we take a shower, that water is coming from the mountains and it goes through some sort of purification plant, like a place that makes the water clean. So there's that job, but I don't really know how to describe that job, so I'm not going to do that. What other job is there to do with a river? So I thought of one, I thought of another. A person who drives a boat on a river. So in some countries, in some cities, there's huge rivers, kind of like that film I just spoke about. And boats go on the rivers. And so somebody might drive the boats on the river. So there's that job. So we could talk about that. I'm sure all of us have been on a boat on a river. Like if you've been to, even in Taipei, this might happen. Or Kaohsiung, maybe. But it definitely happens in Europe and maybe America and other countries. You go on rivers. In fact, in South Africa, I've done that many times. But I've got one more job that I can think of to do with rivers, and this definitely happens in Taiwan. And that is river tracing. Do you know what river tracing is? That's when people sort of walk up rivers and they go on, like they look for waterfalls and they play in the river. But basically they're like walking, like hiking up rivers. And so you get a river tracing coach or leader. Yeah, so I would talk about that job. So that guy, he has a lot of responsibility. He needs to look after this whole group of people and teach them what to do. And there's lots of health and safety things. And he needs to check that everyone's okay and make sure everyone's having fun. And he needs to be very sort of careful and knowledgeable about the area. Okay, so that's what I would say to this question. River tracing. What would you guys say? River jobs? I don't know. All right, everyone. So that's it for today. Leave us some questions. Leave us some comments. This video will go onto Facebook. So if you miss it or you want to share it with your friend, it will be on Facebook. Yeah, and send us some questions. Next week we'll do some more IELTS speaking questions. If you have any questions, like this guy Leo sent, he heard about this strange question. So if you have any you want help with, you can also send it to us. All right, thanks for coming, everyone. We'll see you next time. Bye.